Hey everyone, Ryan Young, Jiu-Jitsu. I hope you're doing well. So I'm doing this little video here in Texarkana, Arkansas, right? I just stopped off to get my coffee, and I'm actually on my way home. I'll probably be home within a couple of hours. Anyway, I had to ask them over at Starbucks, I go, where are we? You know, what state is Texarkana in? And they said, well, on this side of the street, it's Arkansas. On that side of the street, it's Texas. I'm like, oh, okay. So we're literally on the state line here between Texas and Arkansas. So I thought that was kind of an interesting bit of knowledge here. So what I wanted to kind of talk about was give a quick summary, or, you know, how quick can I be, right? I'm kind of wordy on these things. A quick summary on my summer trip 2022. Everyone always asks me, Ryan, I am in so-and-so. Do you have any idea where I can train to get the self-defense jiu-jitsu that you guys teach at KAATARO Jiu-Jitsu? And for the most part, I'm like, I don't know. You know, I'd love to help you, but I really don't know. You know, if you go to certain places, I can tell you, but can I tell you anywhere? No. And the reason is because what I found is with certain associations and affiliations, you have people that have gotten black belts from other people, right? So let's say you have ABC Jiu-Jitsu and they're self-defense minded, but they have an affiliate program. So they might have 100 different schools all over the world. And then you have XYZ Jiu-Jitsu that's sport oriented, and they have 100 affiliates all over the world. Well, what happened was, let's say you have an XYZ black belt, didn't like his relationship with XYZ affiliates. So what he did was he switched over to ABC and said, hey, can I affiliate my school with you? And ABC, looking to get new affiliates, says, of course, you can affiliate with us, right? You know, here's our curriculum, which is self-defense, and, you know, and all that kind of good stuff. But XYZ, he's like, I don't want to use it. He just, you know, I just want the affiliation just so I can get stripes on my black belt, right? So that's what happened. So ABC now has a sport affiliate without really knowing it, or even really caring, actually, for that matter, because a lot of affiliates don't care, right? You could be from one type of jiu-jitsu, and as long as you pay your money, then you can get the affiliation. And in fact, I know of one particular black belt that's local to me who trained under one guy through brown belt, got his black belt from a second guy, switched to another affiliate, and then switched to another affiliate. So trained under 4 distinct black belts who all have different styles. So what style does he really teach? Who knows, right? So you're going to end up getting a mishmash when you end up going to that school. Not really what I would kind of like, you know. So that's why it's been so hard for KAATARO Jiu-Jitsu to create affiliates, because that's something that's very difficult, because Dave is very particular about the type of black belts that we have, as far as the style and training and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, we just have 3 campuses. We have Flower Mound, Texas, which is Dallas-Fort Worth. We have Austin, Texas, and we have Laguna Hills, California, which is Irvine. So that's where you can come and visit us at KAATARO Jiu-Jitsu. Now, so what I've done is Dave he's done for the last 2 years, did a good seminar out in Louisville, Kentucky, Scott Smith's studio at was it Gracie Jiu-Jitsu of Kentucky, located in Jeffersontown, J-Town, which is a suburb of Louisville. He runs a great operation over there. He runs a self-defense oriented school, although they do the sports stuff as well, but they're primarily self-defense. And one thing Dave had mentioned the first time we went was, he said, all right, let me see you guys warm up. And he said they were doing forward rows correctly, backward rows correctly, and they did it just like the way we do it, right? So Dave, I remember, he let it go about 2 or 3 minutes. He said, okay, that's enough. I got an idea what you guys are into now. So, and then he proceeded to then go into his seminar, right? And as I've gotten to know them, you know, we just went there again on the 20th of August, and yes, they do self-defense. You know, they're a Pedro Sauer affiliate, so they do and Pedro Sauer is self-defense, right? He was trained by Elio and got his black belt from Hickson. I think Hickson's his best friend, and he runs his own association, and I've met with people in his association, all great people, right? So we met over there, Dave and I, and Greg, who's one of the black belts at KAATARO Jiu-Jitsu in California. But prior to that, I was on a road trip, prior to that and after that. And many of you follow me on Facebook know that I put out the call starting in about January, February, said, hey, I'm going to be on a road trip, and any of you school owners want me to come on by and teach, just DM me and let me know. So I did get a lot of responses, and the way it all worked out, I wanted to work out in the trip so that I can drive, a reasonable amount of hours in between studios and make stops that way that are along the way, rather than have one up on the West Coast, one in the Midwest, one in the Northeast, one in the South, that type of stuff, So in this trip, my first stop was Birmingham, Alabama. I stopped at Chris Myers' Heroes Martial Arts, and Professor Chris is an affiliate under Eric Paulson, who is one of the old garage guys out of Southern California. So this is the third time I've been to Professor Chris's place, and I love those guys. This third time I went, it was like I wasn't even gone, and Professor Chris is very good, very welcoming. His studio is very well run, and yes, he does the self-defense Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. So yes, if there's a place that you want to go and you're near Birmingham, Alabama, I would recommend you go to Professor Chris's place. Right, my next stop was at James Beeger's Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Academy affiliate, basically Gracie University. His campus, his certified training center, is in Orlando, Florida, and he has a beautiful location, brand new. I think it's about a year old. He is a purple belt with stripes. I don't know how many stripes are on his belt, but he is the main teacher there. Although I think there were 2 black belts that were there that were looking to get into the Gracie University system. And I guess they're using his studio as their place to be for now, while they kind of figure out what they want to do. But they, being that it is Gracie University, they do self-defense. And, it was great for me to contribute what we do, because I know what they learned, because I learned it all when I was, with Helson and with Horian and Hoist and all that. And there are differences in what we do at Hickson's studio versus what they do. And me showing them, they're like, wow, that's actually pretty cool. These mind-blowing instances are pretty awesome. When I just show them how, I'm not going to show you some way necessarily different from what you do, but I am going to take you to the final 5%, let's say, right? Where you say, how come this works on most people, but it doesn't work on certain people? Well, here are the details that that we do, right? Use them if you want. And they're like, oh, right. That works awesome, right? So I had a great time there. And if you're in the Orlando area, I would definitely recommend you go there. And then from Orlando, I headed up to Athens, Georgia. And this was like James Beeger's. This was a new place for me. This is American Black Belt Academy. This is a Pedro Sara affiliate. It is under Randy McElwee, McElwee. And he and his son Ryan, they run the studio, and they've got a relatively good-sized membership. They've got a nice studio. These are all nice studios that I've been to. Not a one has not been nice. But he's very curriculum based. He's also got an instructor training program that, we have, Gracie University has, and it's fantastic. It's very detailed. He has red bars on his instructor's belts as well as like the way we do. And I asked him about the program, and he explained it to me about what kind of things they need to go through to become instructors. It's kind of similar to what we do, right? So another place, Athens, Georgia. Go train at Randy McElwee's American Black Belt studio. So, I'm glad. I'm glad that wherever I've been, I've seen people that are looking for the self-defense jiu-jitsu and that are practicing it. What they're looking for are just like little details, right? Like I said to James, we don't do anything really conceptually different. It's just the final 5% that makes all the difference in the world. And for us, and I tell everybody, if it works for you, great, use it. But if it doesn't, that's fine too. Right? So then from Athens, that's when I made it up to Louisville. No, I went to Cookeville, Tennessee, and Jack McLean, McLean, he runs his own studio, Cookeville Jiu-Jitsu, and he is a brown belt, and he was a brown belt under the late Professor Keith Owen, who was a Pedro Sauer black belt. So I've been there twice now. This is the second year in a row I went, and I went over some of the stuff that we do. You know, basically, I just go in there and I ask them, what kind of stuff do you want to go over? And I do, and I go over whatever they need to. I don't go in with an agenda. You know, I go in thinking that I want to help you and I want to help your studio. So why do I do this? The reason why I do it, you know, because I don't get much from it, you know, and they're not paying for my travel expenses. I pay for my own travel, my own hotel, my own food, right? And I charge them a small amount. Why do I do this? Because what I'm trying to do is trying to show everybody, and I'm trying to spread the word about Rickson Gracie's Jiu-Jitsu, which we do at KAATARO Jiu-Jitsu, and through our app, right? Because every time I'll teach something, I'll say, this is module 1, this is module 2, this is module 3, right? And I'll say, this is white to blue curriculum, module 4, right? And I show them that to show them the value of what we're putting out on our website at KAATAROJujitsuOnline.com. It's good stuff, right? I just tell them, you know, if they look at it like, holy smokes, that's incredible. You know, I've never seen that before. And I go, white belt, right? And I go, but it's not, you know, we don't have easy techniques for white belts. I tell them the difference between a white belt, you know, a white belt level technique, I guess. It's not the technique, it's the execution, right? You take the same concept and you have a black belt do it versus a white belt. It's a huge difference. It's like swinging a golf club, right? You know, you have the same clubs. It's not any different. I mean, you could, you know, buy much more expensive clubs, but a pro golfer will demolish a weekend golfer with an inferior set of clubs, as long as it's not broken or defective, right? So it's the execution that matters. You know, and then when you have same clubs, then, you know, the pro golfer will demolish them with the same equipment, right? So look for that as far as your training. Don't look for fundamentals classes, only beginner stuff, advanced classes, only advanced. It's not really that way, because an advanced person should be able to do the beginner concepts better than the beginner can do it, which for the most part is true, but most people don't really understand that concept. And then after we did Louisville, we drove down to Knoxville. So one of Dave's friends, who's my friend now, his name is Brad Hatcher, and he and his wife Amanda are going through, she's battling cancer. So what we did was we did a benefit seminar for them. So Dave went down there on his own dime to Maryville, Tennessee, which is where Brad Hatcher is. And Brad is a 5th degree Rickson Gracie black belt. So obviously, if you want to learn Rickson Gracie Jiu-Jitsu down in Maryville, Tennessee, which is near Knoxville, go to Brad's, right? You know, go there, and, you know, we went there to teach, did a quick seminar. He did 2 seminars, actually. He did one for women's self-defense, so we had a women's only class, and then he did one for the Jiu-Jitsu folk. And there were probably maybe 6 or 7 black belts that showed up for that, which is amazing, right? So we did that, and then from there, hung out in Nashville a little bit, and then what I did was I went back up to Chagrin Valley, Ohio, and there's Chagrin Valley Jiu-Jitsu, run by Jason Zakraychek. I think I got his name right. So he is a Korean martial arts practitioner from decades ago, and back in like either the late 90s or early 2000s, he started Jiu-Jitsu. Maybe even before that, with Steve Maxwell, who was, I think, the first House and Gracie black belt in America, and has been taking his jiu-jitsu level up since then. And like the other schools, you know, you can tell from the warm-ups they do, self-defense, right? And that's the way they think. So I just went over some basic guard passing and guard playing concepts that we do, and I went over module 3 and module 4, right? Just like I'd mentioned to them. and it was great. You know, it was great seeing them and seeing how jiu-jitsu has spread. You know, this is up in Ohio, right? So I went to Alabama, to Florida, to Georgia, to Tennessee, to Kentucky, and up to Ohio. And this is where my trip took me, this particular trip. So in summary, I'm very happy to see that there are many self-defense schools that are still teaching Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, or at least the style that the Gracie family had originally sought to share, and that we at KAATARO Jiu-Jitsu have made it our life's mission to share as well. And you know, all those schools that I mentioned, so the most recent, I don't know if I mentioned, Jason Zakrajcik School over at Chagrin Valley Jiu-Jitsu. Look them up. So if you're in the Cleveland area, he's the school that you need to go train in. So those are schools that I can recommend to you. Schools that I have been to, I've taught, I've met with them, and I know what they're after. You know, they're after sharing the same art that I love sharing. Same with Master Dave. Anyway, that's all I got for you. Come join us online at KAATAROJujitsuOnline.com and sign up for a membership. Go through the modules and add them to what you're doing, and add the details that we're doing to what you're doing. It can only help you. Anyway, that's all I got for you. Take care. Happy training. Bye now.